All right, so some of you who camped with me last spring, not Lake Whitney, had the opportunity to see a packing of a canoe. So Chris was nice enough to bring in a canoe. As I've said before, they're surprisingly large in terms of what they can carry. So some of the feedback we've gotten out of the campouts is, we really didn't get a sense of how big they were. So we either brought too much or we brought too little. That being said, we thought it was a good idea to show you guys how much stuff can go in here. So again, when you're on the camp out, I'm going to be wearing this on my kayak. But if you're going to bring your own life jacket, make sure it's a Coast Guard approved PFD. We want to make sure that you're not bringing water wings or anything like that. These things have a ton of space. The key with this in any canoe, as you remember, if you put the spring activity, is that these things are tipping side to side, right? So the goal is to keep as much of the weight in the center and at the bottom of the canoe as possible. That will stabilize it. You don't want too much weight to one side or the other. You don't want to be going down the river with a list. And you also want to put the lightest things on top because, again, it's all about center of gravity. You want the center of gravity as low in the boat as possible, and that's by putting the heaviest things in the bottom of the boat as possible. So again, talked about bringing the trash bag here. Now this is not your 3-ply, but you kind of get the idea. You get a sleeping bag in here, you get a mat in here, you get another sleeping bag. You get a lot of stuff in here. You get a pillow in here, and it's light. So this is the kind of stuff you're going to want to pack it in to keep it dry. It's also the stuff you're going to want to put on the top of the canoe when you pack it. That's like the last thing you put in. It's also nice and flexible so it can get wedged into stuff. Okay? Coolers. You got a small cooler. I would suggest you put it near where you are going to be driving the canoe in the back or the front so you can reach in and get your drinks. Nice to have there. If it's really heavy and it's big, put it back in the start of the canoe. But anyway, have it where you can reach in there and get some ice out or get a cold drink. That's a nice convenience to have. The action packers that you're going to put your supplies in, you can see how much space that these can hold. All right, you get a lot of stuff in there, a lot more stuff than you probably need for the camp out. Right, so then that there, you've got chairs that can go into the sides. It's just amazing how much space. I didn't bring everything you could. Like I said, I've gotten tables in here, I've got a can here and here, stoves. You've got a day pack, you can throw some stuff in. You've got space there. And then that up real quick. That's the other side. There we go. And this stuff can just kind of wedge itself in the back. Okay? So once you get all that stuff loaded, it seems nice and stable. For the most part it is, and if you don't tip over, you don't have to do anything else. However, I wouldn't do that. This is my kayak straps. I didn't bring my ratchet straps, but if you can go down to Home Depot for $20, $25, you can get a set of orange ratchet straps that are ideal for keeping these things down. But at a minimum, what you want to do is pardon me?
Just tie it at both sides.
Harbor Freight's a great place.
Inexpensive straps. You can even you can use rope as well.
Yeah, you can use just about anything to lash it down, but the reality is you want to make sure that you lash this stuff down.
Yep, something does happen, you want something to hold your stuff in the canoe, otherwise you're gonna end up having yard sale in the river. It's never any fun trying to collect all your stuff back up. Now, so we have one place on the river that we have typically had some trouble with losing canoes. And in the last couple of years, we have started staging right before we get to that point, and the mentor team will actually be in the river, making sure the canoes have a good line entering that spot, and staying away from the trouble spot on the right. We'll aim you more towards the left. Since we started doing that, we haven't lost any canoes. So I think it's a very low probability that any canoes are going to go over, but nonetheless, we'd like for you to strap your stuff in the off chance something does happen, and make sure your stuff stays in the canoe.
So that was just strap.
That's where you want to be. We don't want this stuff floating down the river. Okay.
Some quick things that I wish I had known before I had gone, for those of y'all that are first going. The action packers are great. They're also kind of an investment. Those are a little bit pricey. Target has these Sterilite in their storage area. This size is $12, and I think this size, which I've actually got all my sleeping stuff in here already, is I think 18. And the nice thing about these is that they have a gasket around the side, so I don't know that they're going to be completely waterproof, but they're also not going to sink. And they're very likely to keep everything dry inside. And these are great not just for the canoe trip, right? This is a great place to store all of your stuff and put it away where you know it's going to be safe and bugs aren't going to get in and that kind of stuff in between adventures. So you can use these on all your adventures when you're going car camping, not just in your canoes. So cost-effective means.
Right. And the other thing with lashing down the gear is you can stack stuff up a little bit higher if you want to, if you can lash it down.
I see your driveway.
See my what?
Driveway.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I can fit all the stuff that I carry for $8 and myself in about 3 dry bags. And so this is a fairly expensive dry bag, a very nice one. And I know you were talking about you can get a set of 3 of them for $10 or $12 at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how are they this size or so?
The largest I think was 12 liters.
Okay.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I think it was like a 12 liter, a 10 liter, and an 8 liter.
15, 18 liters, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got a 30 liter at Academy the other day for the kayak. That's also a backpack for $59.
Okay. So I have 3 dry bags that are not quite this big, and they're not the rubberized material. They're a little bit lighter material. I think they're about $5 or $6 each. Here's what I really like, and I can fit all like the clothing, sleeping bags, stuff that I really want to keep dry, keys. I can fit that in those 3 dry bags for one of my daughters and myself. And then the great thing about a dry bag, you roll the top and you clip it at the top, and then you put it in your canoe and you run a strap through this part here. It's not going anywhere. It'll stay in your canoe. So I really like that aspect about a dry bag. So that's another consideration. Action packers are good. These are good. These will all work. That's just one thing to consider for a dry bag.